Welcome, everyone. We'll bring up the graphic showing the New Year retreat. What are you doing New Year's? Well, a few days after New Year's anyway, but you can join Lama Surya and the rest of the community at a day-long retreat, a New Year renewal retreat. And you can register at www.dzogchen.org. Also coming up is the next masterclass, Lama Surya's masterclass. This is his fourth year of doing them, and this is the fifth session. You can register for just that one, or you can register for the whole series and watch recordings of ones you've missed. The one coming up on January 20th, Saturday, 11 a.m., is Resting in Great Equanimity. And as usual, we welcome your donations to the Dzogchen Foundation. We welcome your joining in membership. Leading the meditation today is one of Lama Surya's senior students, Nathan Mauck. And Nathan, take it away.
Thank you so much, Mel. So nice to see you all. Welcome here on this Sunday. Winding down the calendar year. One more town hall to go this calendar year on New Year's Eve. Excited for that. Excited for this holiday season. Looking forward to that one-day retreat. I love those one-day retreats. The virtual format has been so good for me. And the masterclass also, just really look forward to that. One thing that I've been thinking about this week is teaching that Lama talks about sometimes, which is the 5 perfections, which is the perfect teaching, or the perfect time, the perfect place, the perfect teaching, the perfect teacher, the perfect student. And so I kind of like to reflect on the week sometimes, on the weekend, and see, what was the messages, all of these events throughout the week are a chance to learn and see some things, see if there's any themes that come up. And maybe it's because I'm really good at complicating things, but one of the messages that seemed to come through this week was, the benefits of simplifying things and trying to be a little less complicated, a little less unnecessarily complicated, maybe. And so I saw this in many ways this week, so I'll share a few thoughts on that in case I'm not alone in complicating things. I just start off, I remember in a retreat we had some time ago in virtual format. I was sharing, Leslie was kind of leading a group discussion, and I don't even remember what it was that I thought I wasn't figuring out, but I was saying, I can't quite figure this out. And she said something to the effect of, maybe because it's not something to figure out. Maybe it's more about just experiencing and allowing. And I was kind of like, what else you got? What else? Very simple solution. But, my instinct kind of immediately complicate that. We do a variety, it's just sharing with Mel and Menlin before we logged on, where our kids are now 12 and 9. And we do a variety of present opening ceremonies, so to speak, in different locations and at different times. But we had the first one today. And this isn't quite as true now that they're older, but when they were younger, I remember we'd assemble these really complicated, plastic kind of toys where they've got a million pieces and they don't quite snap together, and you'd spend hours doing it. And then their favorite toy would be a spatula. So it's they just find a spatula mom had left out from stirring something up, and that was what we'd entertain. You're like, So quite often this message of simplicity and not being simple-minded, not sort of ignoring our capacity for reason and to figure things out, but not maybe overemphasizing that aspect of being a human and getting more to just the experiencing exactly what's there in that moment. And certainly I carry that forward to my practice in terms of, one thing I love about Dzogchen instruction is it is pretty simple and straightforward, kind of radical, but we'll do a little natural meditation here in a bit. And be just sitting, just breathing, just being. But that word "just" is kind of sneaky in that instruction, right? It means nothing else, right? We don't need to do anything else. We don't need to add anything to it. We don't need to complicate it. We don't need to try to make it something it's not. And again, nothing wrong with the instructions. They're quite clear. But it starts to get filtered through the brain, at least for me. I'm always looking for something else. And with the practice too, I was laughing. I was walking by my one of my several bookshelves. I got one behind me here on my way in, and oftentimes I get this idea that what I really need is, this next book, and the denser it is, right, the better. I'm like, hey, this book looks really thick and impenetrable. Like that probably has what I'm missing, right? That's probably the secret sauce. If I just can get through this one more book, and even that can become the case with retreats or a given meditation session, which all are wonderful. I love to read, and I love the retreats and the meditation session. But there is a tendency, again, at least for me, to think it's this next one, and not just this next one, but kind of there's got to be something a little more complicated than what I'm doing so far. And so I think the paradox, at least for me, is kind of unwinding that. And the best way to figure things out is to not try to figure it out, but just to try to experience directly whatever is here for us. And the how of that is something that I'm always interested in. And maybe for many of you, you can just do that. You can just drop everything and just let it go and settle right in to whatever direct experience, whatever terminology you want to use for just being, for not overdoing, for sort of simply existing, simply being. But it doesn't always go so easy for me to just kind of beam into that. And so, I always kind of like to go back to the basics and why we do the things we do. So here in just a few moments, we'll start with some prayers, and I just kind of remind myself, it's like it's not like it's not the practice, but a little bit of a warm up, a little bit of setting the mood, a little bit of, undoing whatever habit, whatever momentum we have that we carry into this session from busying around for the day or thinking about what we have to come in the day. Just a reminder of really what we're doing here and setting the tone. And so, some folks like chanting, some folks don't. I think I've shared this before. I remember the first retreat I went to with Lama when he was here in Kansas City. I was excited for it, but beforehand I was like, I am not chanting. I'm not doing it. Like, I just in my mind, I was like, it sounds odd, and it's not going to feel authentic to me. I'm not going to do it. And then we had sort of the whole, we do at the Unity Temple back in the day here in Kansas City, and the whole group was chanting, and it just sort of, then it felt very natural. And since then I've really enjoyed it. But, whether you're into that part of it or not, just kind of sets the tone for what's to come. So Mel, if we could see page 4, we'll get rolling here. We'll ring a bell while we're at it, just to really get us going here. Sanjay Chodang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Badu Dagni Kapsuchi Daki Jinso Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Penshir Sanjay Drupar Shok. In Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Spiritual Community, we go for refuge until fully enlightened. By the power of all 6 perfections, from generosity to non-dual wisdom, for the sake of all beings, may we realize Buddhahood. And page 1 now, if we could. Hung or jen yul ji nup jang sam, pe ma ge sa dong po la, yatsen shogi no drupne, pe ma june je su drak, koru kandro mang po ko, Keiki Jesu Dag Drup Ki Jinji Lab Shir Shek Su So Guru Pe My City Hung Om Ahung Benza 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 Guru Pe my city hung. 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 All right. Make yourself comfortable. No need to sit any special way or meditate in any special way as we move in here. Grab a sip of coffee, stretch, make yourself at ease. And maybe just take a moment to fully arrive here in this moment. Just to notice whatever you're experiencing. Sometimes be helpful to start with noticing any sensations in the body. Maybe even a quick body scan, starting at the top of the head, noticing any sensations down through the face, neck, shoulders, arms, chest, abdomen, body, bottom, tops of our legs, bottom of our legs, our feet, the whole body all at once. Really need to overly particularize. Just kind of scanning the whole scene, seeing what's there, taking it in. Giving our mind a chance to settle in. And noticing the environment around us. If your eyes are open, just seeing what's to see. If your eyes are closed, also just seeing what there is to see. Not quite nothing, even with eyes closed. Maybe any sounds. Feel into whatever's there. Temperature of the room. So the instructions for natural meditation are just sitting, just breathing, just being. Natural body, natural breath, natural heart and mind. Just letting the body settle. If there's any tension or straining, just seeing if you can allow it to release. See if you can let it go. No worries if not. So whatever is there, just taking it in. Natural breath. You don't need to breathe slower or breathe in any special way. Just naturally breathing. Just staying out of the way, letting the body breathe however it needs to breathe, however it wants to breathe. And natural heart and mind. Sometimes this one's a bit sticky, trying to leave the mind, the world of feelings, the world of thoughts, just as it is. But also not blocking out feelings or thoughts. Whatever is there, just taking it in. If maybe we can't move a little bit beyond just the wanted and unwanted of whatever we're experiencing, trying to kind of categorize it into some type of experience or label it. Maybe the biggest, one of the more general labels of just this is wanted or unwanted. I'm feeling really cozy and relaxed, or I'm feeling distracted, whatever it is. Not really getting hung up on whatever the exact experience is, just aware of it. Just experience it. And if you're able to just settle into a direct experience, just allowing everything to be the way it is, that's great. Just kind of maintain that. Letting things come, letting things go. We don't need to hang on to a specific experience or block out any specific experience. But sometimes it doesn't happen maybe real simply. We're maybe aware of still some resistance to things as they are, some complication. Sometimes it can help to maybe work with that just a little bit. One of my favorite brands of complication is trying to control things, trying to make things different than they are. And in this moment, maybe you're aware of some of that, maybe not. But you might also reflect back and maybe take stock of how much energy we spend trying to make things be different than they are. the effort to prop up the story of whoever it is we think we are or whoever we think we are not. Almost running every interaction, every experience kind of through that filter. Trying to maybe prop up some sense of I am this, I'm not this. And at least for now, just seeing if we can just let that go. You don't need to be anything in particular. Maybe we think we can avoid a lot of these unwelcome things. We just figure this next thing out that's keep holding us back in our minds, whatever that is. There's always a next thing for me. Just letting go of that. Just allowing things to be exactly as they are. Whatever clinging, whatever complication pops up, we don't need to battle it. We don't need to try to get rid of it. We can allow even that to come up. We don't have to cling to it. We don't have to treat it as if it's true or permanent. You just see things for what they are. Seeing things clearly, experiencing things clearly. Same thing with emotions. Doesn't get overly hung up with being happy or some sort of positive or welcome emotion. I'm not feeling that right now, and I should be feeling that right now. Just feel whatever's there right now. Whatever comes up, comes up. Seeing for ourselves if that isn't true, that there's plenty of space for whatever is there to come up. There's room for it. At least for now, not doing anything, trying to figure anything out, but very much aware, very much present, noticing, witnessing, seeing, experiencing, dynamic, getting stuck. Just coming back to that over and over again. Just rest. And if you'd like, you can join me in a refresh, a reset, and knock down whatever structure of blocks we've made or situation we've created and just start fresh. Start it all over again, move around, grab a drink if you want, stretch. Thing we talk about sometimes is really how to integrate our practice into our lives to, take what we do in these more formal sessions we set aside. And one thing I love about the advice that comes from Dzogchen is just this, to just break it up into smaller chunks. It kind of creates the habit, and I think the recognition that we don't need to wait for some special moment to just kind of tap into seeing things as they are. We can really access that at any time. We don't need to sit any special way. We don't even need to be still. Be aware of thoughts popping up. Not a problem. Lama sometimes uses this example, but it's like the popcorn popper's popping. Just let it pop. You don't have to salt and butter it. You try to push the lid down and keep the kernels from popping out. We can just let them pop. If we've got a lot of thoughts, that's fine. We don't need to try to do anything with that. We don't need to try to transform it or calm our minds. Just bring awareness to it. Just notice what's going on. And see if it maybe isn't true that whatever we're experiencing will resolve itself in its own way, in its own time, without any effort from us. Just allow whatever's there to arise. Allow it to come. Allow it to go. And then maybe something new to arise, something new to come, something new to go in its own time. Just letting go of the habit of trying to control all of our experience, to kind of judge all this kind of inner experience of thought and feeling. It's either we're doing it the right way or we're not doing it the right way, or this is the right experience, this is not the right way to do it. So whatever it is that we might find ourselves adding complication to, just seeing how simple we can be and just directly experience. one bit of fine print on the pretty simple instructions of just sitting, just breathing, and just being is vividly present. Maybe if you find you drift from that, wandering into thinking about past and future, just general distraction, also not a problem. It's enough just to recognize that, just pick up fresh. Doesn't matter how many times, just come back, just noticing what's here and now, just experiencing. We need to go back and analyze where we went wrong. Everything's just as it should be right now. Just let it be, but be here for it. And if you'd like, you can join me in another refresh, another reset. Saw quite a few of you at Lama's last master class, but he's talking about some of his teachers. Is mostly focusing on the special Ks, as he called them. But another teacher that he referenced is Dudjom Rinpoche, and Dudjom Rinpoche has some great teachings and talks on a topic that I come back to over and over again. But it's movement and stillness. And one of the main points is as we kind of settle in and just experience, oftentimes we are aware of a stillness or a spaciousness, an openness. but we also see movement, right? We see thoughts, actual movement. I'm usually shifting around a little bit even while I'm sitting. I'm not perfectly still. So physical movement, but movement of mind, movement of thoughts, movement all around us. And there's a little bit of a tendency to maybe have a bias for the stillness. Think, well, the goal of meditating is to be calm or something like that, or to be spacious or something like that. But the point of his various talks is, movement and stillness are inseparable. So you don't have one without the other. And so kind of moving beyond rooting for one or the other, getting past this, welcome and unwelcome. Like, I welcome the calmness. I welcome when my mind is a little bit quieter. I don't welcome it when my mind is full of chatter, full of movement. Right? See if we can't move beyond that ranking, that judging, and just it is what it is, experiencing what's there. If there's movement, if there's stillness, if there's both. So again, not trying to complicate or control things, just letting them be. Even if letting things be and allowing means there's a lot of movement and a lot of thought and a lot of feeling. Not playing favorites. Equanimity, right? A lot of times we have these tracks of thought that just play over and over again in our mind, these repetitive things we've thought a million times and they're there again. These repetitive thoughts are not really an enemy or something to get rid of. They're also not all there is to what we experience. And so we don't have to really put them in the driver's seat. We can be present with those thoughts. You don't necessarily have to follow the usual reactions that we might have to them, the butter and salt that we add to them. All of the stories that maybe our ego tells us of what we need to be or what we aren't. Not really an enemy, not really something to get rid of, but something to be aware of, something to notice. Just another thing to let be as it is, but also not making it something it's not putting it in the driver's seat, not making it a solid, permanent thing in our minds. Again, just seeing whatever is there. Maybe it is stillness and spaciousness. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's both. Maybe we don't know. That's okay too. We don't need to know. We don't need to figure it out. Just experience whatever's there. sometimes as a practice session goes on, I find, at least for me, I get a little more comfortable, a little more trusting in just letting things be as they are. And sometimes the thought pops in, now what? So I'm right back to adding some complication to it. But that's it, right? Just leaving as it is, that's it. I mean, sometimes in the Dzogchen instructions, you'll see things like sustaining. So once you have kind of settled into the view, settled into seeing things as they are, settled into just being, sustaining. But in other words, just do that. Just keep doing that. I'm not even kidding when I say when I've heard that instruction, I always think like, is that really it, or is there some other it that they're just not telling me because they don't think I can handle it, right? Like there's some secret message yet to yet to come through. Maybe, but I haven't gotten it yet. So just let it be. It's coming back and again to whatever you're experiencing right now. It's always fresh experience. See if we can experience it that way as a fresh and new experience. Not just, I've done this a million times, I've been here, done that. This moment, a fresh moment, fresh experience. As we get close to the end here, we'll dedicate any merits from this practice here in a moment, but I always like to just kind of come back to, I have to remind myself, maybe it's helpful to you too, of why we do this, but just a reminder that we all have this wish to help others and to be of benefit to others. And so this dedication really offering up the merits of our practice to others, but also not forgetting ourselves in that. And if we don't sort of take care of ourselves and include ourselves in these well wishes, then we're probably not going to be as skillful in helping others as we might like. So including all, ourselves and others, seen and unseen. So Mel, could we see the dedication prayers on page 13? So nam di tamche zikpa ni tobne ne pe dranam pamje ne ke ga nachi balab trukpa yi si pe soe drowal drowar sho. By the power of this meritorious practice, may the real enemies, our own projections and misdeeds, be overcome and sublime realization fully attained. So we may free beings from the miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, the stormy waves of the ocean of samsara. Gewa di na dudak, zogpa chenpo drub journey, drowa chikang malupa, dei salago parsho. Through this virtue, may we swiftly realize and fully embody the natural great perfection, and thereby bring all, without exception, to its complete realization. Jungchub Senchok Rinpoche, Make Panam Ke Gyurchik, Ke Pa Nempar Me Pa Yong, Gone Gondu Pelwar Shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. Shokenpo's dedication prayer. Through the merit of this, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain for ages to come, the ground for every single kind of benefit and happiness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings who uphold its living truth accept to live for aeons, and their lotus feet stand firm. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being, in all its blazing splendor, shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. And Lama Surya's New Millennium Prayer. May all beings everywhere, with whom we are inseparably interconnected and who want and need the same as we do, may they be awakened, liberated, healed, fulfilled, safe, and free. May there be peace and harmony in this world, and an end to war and violence, poverty and hunger, inequality and oppression, greed and cruelty, pandemics, famine, droughts, earthquakes, all kinds of natural disasters. May all be free from fear, harm, danger, anxiety, and insecurity. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey, one beloved community, one circle, one family, all the way home. And I bow to all of you. Thank you so much for your practice. Got time for maybe a little bit of time for a question or comment or two for last rites time. All the kind words in the chat. Thank you all very much. Very thankful for this group. Menla always keeps us on track.
And if there are no questions, I'd like to remind everybody of two things. One is that next week, Christmas Eve, there will be Meditation Town Hall. But the following week, New Year's Eve, we will be here. And you can continue your New Year's celebration all the way up to January 6th and have a one-day retreat with Lama Surya to renew and refresh your year. Thank you all. And thank you, Nathan, especially. Everybody have a great holiday.
Thanks, Mel. Take care, everybody.